Haramball, the new thing within football. Having a low block, going long and putting balls into the box. Formerly also known as Brexit football, is the exact type of style we are going to be using today at Burnley Football Club in a 5-season rebuild to really test, can Haramball actually win trophies? But before we get into the save, let's go through the Brexit and Haramball football rules. Now, of course, because I am a football manager shill and they pay me every month and they've moved me into this penthouse in Salford, which definitely exists, we have decided to write our Haramball rules on our football manager whiteboard. Rule number 1. A 6-foot plus defence. That defence cannot be under 6 foot. The fullbacks and the centre-backs will all be 6 foot plus in this rebuild. And when I mean when possible, I mean when the board don't give me 1 million first season, which is definitely not my first season budget, but we'll move on. Second point is quick wingers and crossing. I am looking for wingers that have no intention of scoring a goal. You get that ball into the box and that is your job. Get it on the target forwards, Ed. Number 3, the mid/low block approach. Every man behind the ball except the striker is the definition of Haramball. We are going to be bringing them players back into a deep position. We are going to be hard to break down. Yes, we're not going to have a lot of possession of the ball. And yes, we might not have a lot of counter-attacks. But what I'll tell you right now is we're not going to concede a lot. And the final point is route 1 football. We are going long off goal kicks to the target forward. We're winning flick-ons to the wingers or the pairing striker. And we're going to get our goals that way. There's no tippy-tappy anymore. No playing out from the back. No split centre-backs. No inverted wing-backs. Woke. Now the rules of the rebuild are firmly in your mind, and I know exactly the job that I have to do. Let's get into Season 1's transfers and let's see who we bring in to the Burnley Brexit. Every good Brexit team has a target forward, and Chris Wood was available on loan from Nottingham Forest, a 6'3" man with 16 jumping reach and 15 heading with 16 bravery. He's going to win flick-ons and he's going to win headers. And the only out of the window was Hans de Kla, a centre-back who didn't want to be here, did not want to be part of the Brexit ball, and only being 6'1" at the back, he was not ready for our style of play. Now that was a very short transfer window. We only got 1 million off the board in Season 1 and we literally could not do anything. This is the tactic and the players we are locking in for Season 1. Now in possession we are playing that 4-4-2 shape, but we're sending them wing backs higher. We've got Kyle Walker and Hartman at Burnley Football Club, 2 full-backs who are very good at crossing the ball and getting forward around the wingers. We're going to be locking in up front Chris Wood and Broja, the tall/little man partnership, although Broja is actually quite good on the game and he actually has a bit of height to him. But we are doing that target forward and the poacher up front, the flick-ons, the runs in behind from the target forward. It's going to be immense. And we're going to hover over this man in Chuan, who's getting locked in on the right wing. A man with a lot of pace, with a crossing and dribbling ability. Mentally, he's not there, but he knows his job. He's getting down that line and he's getting balls into the box. And for Season 1, we are previewed to finish 20th in the league. Relegation with 1,000-to-1 odds. And the reason why Burnley inspired me to do this Brexit/Haramball rebuild was them odds to me are a challenge. And a challenge to show that this Premier League, that we can go back 10 years in football. Balls into the box, low blocks and no tippy-tappy. And we can keep a team in the Premier League. Let's simulate Season 1 and let's see how the boys do in the first season of Haramball. When I told you that we would not go down at 1,000-to-1 odds and that we would stay in this Premier League, welcome to the end of Season 1, where Burnley finish 11th in the Prem. We have took Burnley from 1,000-to-1 odds to finish bottom to 11th with the current team, by the way, just Chris Wood on loan, into 11th. And if you actually look, we were 8 points off top 8th. We could have potentially got Europe this season with Haramball Season 1. Now, what I am absolutely appalled at looking at this, though, is the 62 goals conceded. Clearly, that low block wasn't low enough. We'll be moving it back a notch in Season 2. But what I am quite pleased at is the 56 goals for. We have been scoring goals, and I know they've been on Chris Wood's head or Broja off a Chris Wood flick on. And I want to show you something here that I'm very proud of as a Haramball manager. Burnley this season, top of the headers won. 914 headers. That is better than getting into Europe. We were also top of the red cards. They were getting stuck in. There was nobody getting past our players. It was either ball or man. Another stat I'm quite proud of in the attacking sense, Burnley, highest conversion rate in the Premier League. And I'll tell you why that is. We're not trying to make these mad chances and spend all our time tippy-tappying. We're getting it into the box, we're getting it through balled, and we're getting chances on goal. 17%, what a stat. We're going to show a couple more stats from the defensive side as well. Clearances, 789. We're not playing out from the back. I'm not messing about getting the ball back at centre-back with their whole 8-man, 9-man press up there. No, sack that. Clear it wrong, Esteve. And then finally, the last stat that we will show from season 1. 531 fouls made with 53 yellow cards. I could not be more proud of this team. They have done exactly what I've asked. We came in season 1 with these rules, and I've got to say, I think we've ticked a lot of them. Now, if we take a look at the squad here, it's not the greatest sight, I can't lie. You've got Broja and Wood up front, though, getting 24 goals between them and 14 assists between them. You've got to think there must have been a generational link-up up there. What I like to see as well is Tachuana, the guy we locked in on the right wing with 11 assists, the highest assists at the club. Again, completing the objective, get down that line and get it in the box. Apart from that, it's a pretty mid-season. I can't lie, I can't really toot anyone's horn too much. If we look at average ratings, Florentino Luis, who was here when we joined the club, got a 6.95. Lyle Foster did okay off the bench, but there's not really anybody else stepping up too much into this Brexit ball. We can clearly see who is going to be here for a long time and who favours the HARAMBALL. And if you were wondering, in the other cup competitions, where did we finish? We may as well not even talk about it. But let's move on swiftly and get to season 2. We need to bring in some HARAMBALL experts, some specialised players for our system. I'm going to go have a scout. Let me see what I can find. Season 2, what a transfer window. I actually can't wait to show you who we've brought in. I actually managed to find the most perfect striker for HARAMBALL. Let me show you him. Look at this beast. 17 heading, 16 finishing, 17 bravery, 18 jumping reach, and 19 strength. Welcome in Tomáš Čóry of Czech Republic. I cannot believe I managed to find this guy. The perfect target forward for HARAMBALL. He's 6'6". And then to partner him, on that right wing or left wing, Adama Traore joins the club on a free transfer. 19 pace and 17 strength with decent crossing but great dribbling. Again, this guy fits the bill. Get down the line and cross the ball because it's all he can actually do. He is the perfect winger for our system. But we also wanted to upgrade our defence. Atabolu comes in goal. He was the most Brexit HARAMBALL goalkeeper I could find with the 17 strength, and he looks like he's going to bang me out in his picture, so we'll move on quickly. Sticking in the defence as well, Elvind Helland comes in, a 6'5" Norwegian centre-back, very strong, determined, and a good tackler of the ball. And then finally, the best signing of the entire transfer window was Johan Gadou at centre-back. All the makings of a HARAMBALL centre-half, very good in the air, very strong with decent pace. And this is how we are looking for season 2, boys. We're locking in a few more players this season. I want Luis playing in that half-back role on the right-hand side to drop into the back three. We're going to be locking in Marcus Edwards on the left wing as well because he didn't really play last season, and he is a winger who can beat a man and get a ball in the box. Broja will be locked in as well up front to keep making sure he develops well. If I hover over him quickly here, as you can see, he's a 6'3" man who has got pace. He is like the perfect poacher for HARAMBALL. We've got Čóry up front, 6'6", pure strength and jumping reach, but then we've also managed to get a poacher who's still 6'3". And then finally locking in Kyle Walker on that right hand side. He's coming to the end of his career. I don't want him to get phased out of the team. He is one of the best players at the club. After all of them transfers, we are still 600 to 1 odds to go down in the Premier League. We have moved up the 3 places, but I still think this league are doing us dirty. I think we've got something to prove here. Getting 11th last season was just the beginning. Let's see what we can do in season 2. We are now at the end of season 2, and I told you we're going to prove something. And what I have managed to prove is that I am absolutely clueless. We finished 14th. It is a honking season. We score 46 goals this season, but concede 62. We draw way too many games, getting 13 draws in the league, and we end on 37 points. Getting an extra point in the league maybe would have moved us up to 13th, but then the gap to 12th would have been 8 points. We were deservedly in that lower bottom half of the table. I'm sat here thinking now, was it correct to lock this many players into the team? Was that my fault for forcing them to play too many football matches? I'm looking at the goal scorers, and it's as if Čóry and Broja are only the ones that played football this season. Čóry comes in his first season, drops a 21 goal, 8 assist season. Unbelievable. Broja as well, backing him up with 11 goals and 6 assists. But I'm looking at the rest of the team there. I'm looking at Marcus Edwards on that left wing, 4 goals and 4 assists in 41. And I'm looking at just performances across the board here, and did anybody want to do anything this season? Now, what I love to see is that Tachuana in 40 games did not score a goal and he got 9 assists, again, showing that he understands his role in this team is to do nothing but cross that ball. But at the end of the day, it's the end of the day. And at the end of the day, that is not good enough. And again, when I click onto the cup competitions, we've had a decent-ish run in the FA Cup this season, getting 5th round Wolves. It's not the worst in the world. But then I'm looking at that EFL Cup and I'm seeing I've been knocked out in the second round by Preston North End. Preston North End. Our away fans were sat in the North End and they still beat us. Awful joke, Jesus Christ. But something that is positive, through staying in the Premier League now, if I show you the recruitment tab going into season 3, we've got 48 million available. We have got to make some huge signings here. Broja and Chori up front, very impressed with the strikers. The rest of the team, nowhere near good enough. Season 3, it's a big window, halfway through the video. We've still yet to win a trophy, and we've still yet to get into the top half in the Premier League. Let's go have the most impactful Haram signings yet. Now, Season 3's transfers was a very interesting window. It felt like a pivotal time for the club to take that step forward. Finishing 11th in the first season, dropping down to 14th, it is a graph that I don't want to be on, a decline. We have made some huge signings. We have brought in a pair from the exact same club and the exact same nationality to play on either wing. That is a relationship and a broship and a friendship and a romance, and I can't think of another word that I wanted at my club. Let me introduce you to Season 3's transfers and the new Burnley team. Starting off with one of the Brodems is Nuerton. Nuerton comes in a 16 dribbling winger, 13 crossing, 16 technique, and an 18 work rate up and down that left-hand side. 18 work rate. The energetic, hard-working Haramball is in him. He might only be 5'5", but that's good because he's not winning any headers. He's on the wing to cross the ball. His partner in crime is Alisson. Alisson joins the club on the right wing, both from Shakhtar and both Brazilian. Alisson comes in 15 crossing with 15 dribbling. But the difference with Alisson is he has got a little bit of height in the 6 foot, so he has got that haram in him. But he is also still a quick, agile winger who's going to get down that line and whip a good ball in with a 16 technique as well. Now, just to check back in after them 2 signings, I mean, unbelievable. But with every bit of youth, you need experience. And that is why we bring in Atakan Carazo in the DM. 6'3" and mentally a genius. Also can throw himself about, 15 strength with 16 jumping reach in the midfield. He is going to be like the godfather of this Burnley team. Coming in at right back is Lucas Hogsberg. I told you, this defence will be 6 foot plus. Hogsberg comes in at right back, 6'2", ready to develop and ready for Haramball. And before I show you this signing, I know Season 3 might seem like such a dramatic window. This is one of the most dramatic signings of all time. We are bringing back an originator of the Burnley Haramball. He moved to another Premier League club, leaving the Haram ways. He was one of the best players under Sean Dyche in his Burnley era. I wonder right now if you have guessed the player. And if you have guessed the player, leave a comment and also leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. But if the player you guessed was Dwight McNeil, you were correct. Welcome back, Dwight McNeil. I think he is the winger in the Premier League that is most known for actually getting down the line and crossing a ball in and not really having much else in the locker. No disrespect. We all know what McNeil's about. Let's move on. And moving on, we do to the final signing, which is Marc Cucurella. Now, I know this is absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, I'm English, you know, and I didn't want to do it. He came up for £4 million, but what he lacks in height is that aggression and work rate. This guy is the most aggressive little muppet I've ever seen in my life. And I could not find a left back this season, 6 foot plus, and I thought he was the only alternative. When looking through the lists of players, nobody really gave me that Brexit haram feeling like he did. So he comes in at left back for £4 million. To round up that transfer window as well, we did spend £90 million. We did make some money back though from selling it Quindelche Hartman over to Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. We did not want to get rid of this guy, but when Saudi comes knocking, you can't turn it down. 13 million. And finally, the last major sale of the window was Amdouni. Amdouni did leave for £7 million, not getting a lot of football and not settling into the haram ways. And for Season 3, boys, tactically, we are not changing a thing. We are actually changing something, slightly, is we are making out of possession our striker be the outlet. We're going to have a target forward that stays as more like an outlet now. And we're also going to have the right wing on a wide midfielder to try and get some counter-attacks going with a pressing fullback on that right-hand side as well. But we are sticking to this 4-4-2 type shape. We are not going away from the Haramball. We cannot change tactically. This is what our philosophy is. And for the season preview this season, we're actually in 13th. They're actually somewhat rating us, but last season we were rated 14th and finished 17th. We know this is a load of, for a better word, non-truthful things. Non-truthful. It's not truthful. But if we just check in with the squad quickly as well before we simulate Season 3, you can see the quality coming through. You've got youngsters like Juan Gadu and Alisson who are going to develop over these next couple of years. We have also now got specialists in the Haramball in Broja, who's in his 3rd season with us now. There's a great balance in the squad and I'm very optimistic about this season. Let's see what is possible in Season 3. Well, season 3 for Burnley was a historic season, but not quite so historic in the Premier League as we finished 13th. The most worrying thing about this season in the Premier League was scoring only 38 goals. We've just brought in 2 new wingers who are getting down that line and whipping the ball in. We had 2 strikers last year that scored a combined 30 plus goals, and you're telling me in the Premier League we only scored 38? But what is good to see is that we still got 12 wins. So in the games where I think we did score a goal, we were solid at the back. But you're probably wondering, Robbo, you can't be historic for only getting Burnley to 13th. And that is not the reason we were historic. We are historic because we won Burnley the Carabao Cup in season 3 using a haram ball tactic. No gegenpressing, no overpowered formation, just a 4-4-2 in possession and just leaving the striker up top out of possession, and it's won a trophy. Let's head through that Carabao Cup journey. From the 4th round we played Coventry, we won 5-1. We then move on to the quarters where we faced Plymouth away from home. You know that pie face vlog would have been generational. It went to penalties and we managed to win. Moving on to the semi-final where we beat Liverpool 5-0 over 2 legs. This doesn't even seem real. 5-0 over 2 legs against Liverpool. And then in the cup final was where we play Arsenal and we are 3-1 victors. If we look at the match events and the stats, them stats actually make me quite emotional. That is exactly how you haramball. You have less shots than the other team, less possession, but guess what? You're not going to break us down. They only managed to get a 1.7 XG from 18 shots. We have harammed them perfectly. And I just want to show you the first goal from the game of this cup final, as it kind of sums up what we're about. As you can see here, 3rd minute into the game, we've won a set piece. It's a corner. It's the new Brazilian lad on it. As we click play, he swings it into the box. Arsenal clear it and think they're all right. No, you're not. Newton again. Chory flick on the target forward, and it's a goal for Hogsburg. That is what we are about. In the other competitions, we were knocked out in the FA Cup by Chesterfield, unfortunately. But I think this season, the Premier League may have been hampered by our Carabao Cup run. I'm not too sure. But what is good to see is a lot of different players chipping in with goals and assists this season. Chory and Broya, again, the team is all about them two up top and getting the ball to them. They are scoring the majority of goals. But there is chipping in from Chouamana, Hogsburg from right back getting a few. Alisson and Newton coming into the team. Not getting great numbers, but still contributing. I do also just want to quickly highlight the development of Gadu at centre-back, our wonder kid Haramball centre-back. He is now one of the world's best. 18 jumping reach with 17 strength. Oh, it's just a dream to look at this. Oh, it's amazing. 17 heading as well, so he's going to be scoring off set pieces. Oh, it's fantastic to see. But anyway, season 3 comes to an end. A trophy win for Burnley Football Club. Not much development in the Premier League, but we will take a 13th place finish in the Prem for the chance to lift silverware, especially with the run we went on as well. The games against Plymouth where we went on penalties, beating Liverpool 5-0 in aggregate. It's an absolute masterclass. Let's get to season's forged transfers and keep on evolving the haramball. Now for season 4, we start on a negative note. Joan Gadu, the best centre-back at the club, leaves for 103 million to Tottenham Hotspur. I tried to stop it. I tried to offer him multiple contracts. He would not listen. Tottenham kept on increasing the bid from 70 to 80 to 90 million, and we kept on rejecting. But he had a 103 million release clause in his contract. One of the original haramballers. We salute you. Another noticeable outgoing was Tijuana as well. He leaves the club for 43 million over to Al Hilal, earning 450 grand a week. Haramballers took him to the big leagues. Fair play. We also had some other deals go through. Helland leaves the club for 23 million. Koleosho for 10. Brun Larson and Adama also leave. But now for the fun part, the incomings. Let's have a look at what we spent all of that money on, and I think it was about 160 million combined. First up is a new right back. Kyle Walker was getting on. Taylan Bullock comes in as a model citizen, a 6'2" man, highly pacey, good jumping reach, a 6'2" right back. That is what the game's about. Next up on a free transfer, we bring in Umar Sadiq, a physical man who is also 6'4". The beauty of this transfer is he can play as a poacher or a target forward. Next up, we bring in Ansu Fati. Now, you might be thinking, Robbo, this isn't a player who suits the winger of a haramball team. Now, this is where you've got to actually think a little bit deeper. What we have signed Ansu Fati for is his name is Fati. And in a Brexit team, in a haram team, you're probably going to have the fatty of the team. The barrel, the one with a big belly. I'm thinking Sunday League. I'm doing wordplay now in rebuilds. The next signing, Gadu replacement, Alexandro Ribeiro. Now, he reminds me of Gabriel at Arsenal, a 6'4" Brazilian centre-back in his prime. Very aggressive, a great leadership. He is going to be the leader of the Brexit this season. And finally, coming in up top, marquee striker Artem Dovbyk, the Ukrainian man. He's got a simple haircut and a simple game. Get the ball to me in the box and I'm going to finish my dinner. He's got a trait with plays back to goal. I'm looking forward to see what this man can do in our system. And for season 4, it's very simple. Dovbyk is getting locked in up front and we are actually making a bold move. Dwight McNeil is going to be our advanced wing back this season. Now, I know you're probably thinking, what are you smoking? I'm looking at the tackling, the work rate. I'm looking at the crossing ability, and being an originator of this system, he just gets it. And if he is ever going to learn in a system a new role, I think it's this one. I'm going to lock Dwight McNeil in at left wing back / left back this season. But what is brilliant about this season is we are now in Europe. We are taking our anti-football methods into the European leagues. As you can see here, we have got to qualify at the moment, but I'm sure we'll do so. Maybe we'll come back at the end of season 4 and we have won a European trophy. That would actually be the dream. Let's see what we can do. Season 4, off the back of a Carabao Cup win, can we have an even better season? Season 4 is where I think it has finally clicked for this team. The familiarity of the tactic and everybody knowing their roles. And the reason why I say that is because we got an 8th place finish in the Premier League, which is going to get us Conference League next season. We have qualified for Europe off our own back through the league. 38 games played, 15 wins with 15 draws and only 8 losses. Now, what's actually quite crazy about this season, if it wasn't for the amount of draws, you take a few of them draws away and make them a couple of wins, we generally would be a top 6 team. And I know it's easier said than done. If you hadn't had balls, should be your uncle. But my whole point is, if you look at the teams around us and in the league, we actually drew the most games in the league. And like I said, if we could just even drop that number to 12 or even 11 draws, we're looking at a 5th place finish. We've scored 55 goals this season, only conceding 42, and a 60-point goal hit. 60 points. And now we're in season 4. I'm going to show, like I did in season 1, the development of the stats across the Premier League season. Again, top of the headers won, 928 headers won. The second most red cards in the league. It's what I'm looking for. One stat I find interesting is the shot on target ratio. 51% of our shots are on target. And again, I don't know if this is because we're not doing any long shot business or any funny business. I feel like all of our shots do come from within, the 18-yard box. I think quite a good stat is our XG against as well, being 49. I mean, if you look at the teams that have bettered us this season, they are very high quality teams, so we're kind of best in the rest in the defensive areas. Another great thing to see is the grit and determination of the team. 700 tackles won across 38 games, getting that 1st place. Also being top of the blocks, 231 blocks. We're putting our lives on the line. And finally, defensively, being 2nd on the clearances with 721. And to kind of summarise all of them stats, I'm just very impressed with the team. The defensive and attacking output, it's kind of balancing itself. To have the highest shot on target ratio in the league, but also be so solid defensively, it proves why we finished 8th in the table. We were good at both ends this season. But something I'm even more happy with is this squad screen right here. The goals and the assists now are adding up. Broja and Dovbyk getting 20 plus goals each is incredible. Chori off the bench still chipping in with 10. Newton on the wing having his best season, getting 10 goals and 14 assists, with Alisson as well getting 9 and 10. But if we also look at the goals and assists of the wing backs in this system, Taylan Bullock in his first season getting 20 contributions, and Dwight McNeil in his new role at left back getting 13, and he is now fully fledged and able to play that advanced wing back role. But that's enough for the Premier League. What about the other competitions? In the other competitions, we stunk up the gaff. We got knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup by Liverpool and the 3rd round of the Carabao by Newcastle. 2 difficult fixtures, but it's in the Conference League where I have my disappointment. Quarter-final to Olympiacos. If we look here in the quarter-final, we do go out on penalties, which is heartbreaking. And if we look at the final, Olympiacos actually got all the way to the final that is yet to be played against Atalanta. That could have been us, Burnley, in a European Cup final. We could have been there. If we look at our league phase run as well, in typical Big Robbo fashion, we finished 1 goal difference off automatically qualifying, which is it just makes perfect sense, to be honest. I wouldn't expect anything different. But just quickly before we get into season 5 and the new transfers, let's just also talk about some league results that we got. Beating Arsenal 2-1 at home. Going to Newcastle away and winning 1-0. Going to Tottenham away and winning 1-0. Going to Man United away and winning 3-1. It's clear to see that this system now can compete with the big dogs. I mean, if I actually scroll here quickly if you look from Forest here from the 25th of November and you scroll down, we did not lose a game until the 11th of February. We actually went about 15 games unbeaten with this Brexit tactic. It's incredible. And speaking of the tactic, if you want this tactic, head over to my patreon.com/BigRobbo14. I will be uploading this tactic when this video drops. Clearly, you know, it clearly sort of works, you know, like we are beating big teams, we're winning big games. We've won trophies, we're 8th in the Prem. But enough glazing. Season 5. Let's go. Season 5, the last season of the rebuild. And before we get into it, you boys who have stayed to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching all the way through. And what we'll do, I'm interested to always hear feedback from you boys about what you're actually doing in your saves. I know as a content creator, you always see them, you know, showing off what they're doing and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I want you to comment down below your favourite player from FM26 so far, if you've made it this far into the video. Maybe give a little description with it as to why and the position or where you signed him from if it's someone a bit more unknown. I'll be interested to read them comments after this video releases. But let's get into Season 5's transfers anyway, and let me show you who we have brought in and who we have got rid of. Now, to start off Season 5, we depart with a club legend. Thomas Chori, the 6'6" striker with the 18 jumping reach, does leave the club at 34 years of age. He leaves to Saudi Arabia after being offered money we could not afford. Thank you for your services, Thomas. And then also, we lose Milenkovic, the 6'5" man who didn't really feature much for us, but we appreciate his services. Farewell. Moving quickly over to the ins, Chido Obi Martin joins the club. Now, Chido Obi Martin I see as a younger Armando Broja, someone who's going to compete up front for that spot. Again, a guy who can play a poacher, but he's also 6'2", fast and can finish. Next up is a regen in Medvedev, who was made for the Brexit ball. He is a guy who can play up front or on the wing, who is extremely fast, but also 6 foot. Also with decent aggression and work rate and determination, this guy is going to work hard either as that poacher or that left winger. With one centre-back out, another centre-back comes in. Krejci joins from Wolves for a £30 million deal. He is 6'3" and he is ready to get stuck in this team, in that DM role or as a centre-back. A very good player in his prime, also left-footed who can play on that left-hand side. A very good option in the squad. Next up, coming in to replace Dwight McNeil at the left-back role is Nicolo Savona. And something I said at the start of this video, every fullback will be 6 foot plus. Savona's 6'4". It's absolute limbs. The final transfer of the rebuild is Rooney Barger, a technical winger who can get down that line and whip a good ball in. Being quite good on both feet as well, has the versatility to play on both sides. I'm interested to see what contribution he can have. And for the final season, we are sticking in the same tactic. Chido Obi Martin will be locked in up front. If we hover over his stats, there's already been some development through pre-season. And Nicolo Savona, not being natural on that left-hand side, but will be locked in to develop there and play every single game. If I was to quick pick the best 11 come at the end of this rebuild and the final season, this is what we are looking at. Of course, we will drop on Savona into this left-back role, but apart from that, we are looking very strong. I'm very excited to simulate Season 5, boys. I feel like we have accumulated here a great squad for our mission. Let's make this the best season of the entire rebuild. Let's see what Burnley can do. Now, Season 5 is one of the strangest seasons I have ever seen in Football Manager. Now, doing these rebuilds, if I wanted to, I could rig this rebuild to go on and tell you boys that I won the league in Season 5. What a story, download the tactic here and blah, blah, blah. But I cannot believe what actually happened in Season 5's Premier League run. We finished 17th in the league, surviving on goal difference. I have never seen a bigger decline in my life. Now, we could have got relegated, sure, and that would have been worse. But to only survive on goal difference is actually quite scary. We only won 7 games this year, drawing 14 and losing 17. We scored an okay amount of goals in 44, but we conceded 70 goals. Somehow, actually signing better defenders has cost us. I don't know how that works. I just think we have had a calamitous Premier League season. It is potentially the worst of the rebuild. We're just going to try and move on, because sometimes you need to look past the negatives to see the positives. And that is because in a season where we were absolutely horrific in the Premier League, we somehow win the Europa Conference League. I have got absolutely no idea how this has happened. When I am simulating on rebuilds, like probably a lot of other YouTubers do, I literally put a YouTube video on, a podcast type video, and I just sit and listen, wait about half an hour and come back and check. When I was looking at the fixture schedule at the end of Season 5, I can't believe what's just happened. If we look at our run to the final, round of 16, we beat FC Noah 6-0. In the quarterfinals, we then play Bilbao, a really big club, and we somehow win 3-0. And you've got to remember, while this is happening, the league form, how bad we are. In the semi-final, we go on to face Basel, where we beat them 4-1 on aggregate, and Lens go on to beat Atalanta 6-2 in the other semi-final. And then when we get to said final, we win 1-0. And a great thing about the 1-0 win as well, we had less shots than the other team and less possession. The best thing is that the originator of the left mid-Brexit role, Dwight McNeil, was the guy who scored the winner for Burnley Football Club to win them the Conference League. I mean, what a story to end. You know, we qualify for the Europa League, the best competition of the whole rebuild. Obviously, we're not going to do it because we're not doing a season 6. You know, we've won a Carabao Cup in this rebuild as well. So we've been in Europe twice and actually won the competition once, and we've won the Carabao Cup. So from season 3, it has actually been limbs. It took 2 seasons for the tactic to get going, but it got there. And finally, if we look at the squad for the season, Broja and Dovbyk doing the business up front, with Chido Obi chipping in as well with 15. Chido Obi over the season did develop as a player, but I would have wanted a few more goals and assists from him, especially with a man with now 16 finishing, the pace, the jumping reach. But I think as we come to the end of this rebuild, we can only be proud of this team. What they contributed in this rebuild. They sacrificed any technical ability, any flair, any creativity in football to come and join me and play football the most anti-way possible. 4-4-2, route 1, tall defenders, no playing out from the back, getting the ball out wide and crossing the ball in, no link-up play in midfield. And I think they've actually done a pretty decent job. We've not been relegated, we've won 2 trophies, and including that, we have won on the European stage. To end the rebuild, I do want to go back to the board. I think we did pretty well following these objectives, to have the 6-foot defenders, to have the quick wingers, to play that mid to low block, and to go route 1 and go long and see if it can work. I think we completed all 4 of these, and we have had a very successful rebuild. But this marks the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy the content, please subscribe and like, and I will see you on the next FM26 rebuild or video that you choose to watch. Rise FMers, have a good rest of your day and night, and I'll see you on the next one.